Hey guys, I have several different videos for you guys today. This one is going to be a book haul, but it's all library, so I didn't spend any money. I'm very proud of myself, but I'm also kind of upset with myself because I have so many owned books that I need to read, and I'm getting books that I don't own. But the thing is that some of these are continuations in series, so it's like I'll be reading a mixture of owned and library, so I figure that's okay. The first one is the Golem and the Jinni. I would say Golem. I've heard a lot of people say Golem, but I would say Golem. Like, that's how I also pronounce the Lord of the Rings character, and even though it's spelled differently, it just seems like it would be pronounced the same. I don't know, but I'm really excited about this because a lot of people say that it's very atmospheric, and also that it is really not similar, but I guess if you like Neil Gaiman, you'll also like this. So I was very excited that this was at the library that I went to, and also the reason why I have this haul to begin with is because we were eating at a restaurant that's near the big library in my town, and we are never, well, it's not that we're never near there, we're actually near there quite a bit now that we've discovered this restaurant, but I just never think to go while we're there, and I feel like usually we don't even have time. But this time I was like, hey, I need to return this book, so can we just go to this library, and then that way I can get some more things, because the main library has so many more options than my library that's closest to my house. So it was just so much better. So that's why I have this little haul to begin with, is because my library that's closest to me never has books this good. But anyway, so yeah, I'm very excited about this. And the cool thing is that, the audiobook is also on Overdrive, so I'm going to check that out and listen and read at the same time, and I think that that will be wonderful, and I'm just really excited to get into that. And then the next one I have, okay, I kind of have a little story with this one. I read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier summer of 2013, like between the summer and I think I finished it in like October. I didn't like it as much. I want to reread it at some point to see if I change my mind, because literally every person I know who reads it loves it. But the thing is, like, I read it and all I could think was published Jane Eyre fanfiction. Like, and I don't mean to say that because most fanfiction is like really poorly written, but this, like, her writing is gorgeous, but just the story to me was way too similar to Jane Eyre, and I love Jane Eyre so much that I was like, I mean, this is basically like reading the same story with a few differences written by a different person. Like, there were just too many, even the main character, one thing that bugs me about it is, like, people consider Jane Eyre to be a feministic novel, and, like, a lot of people consider Rebecca to be sort of in the same vein, but what bothers me is I'm like, dude, this girl, the main girl, doesn't have a name. She never gets a name throughout the entire story, and I get that it's supposed to be symbolic, but that doesn't, like, to me, it's never, like, this girl never gets her self-confidence. Even in the last third of the book is a lot better, but it's still, I didn't really like the story. I loved the writing. The writing was gorgeous. So because of that, I was like, okay, I want to give her other works a shot. So I wanted to try My Cousin Rachel, because, okay, this is going to sound strange, but, like, after I read Rebecca, I watched the film, and I loved it, which is so weird, and I think it's because Joan Fontaine and Laurence Olivier were in it, and they did such a good job. And also, somehow to me, you don't, like, how do I explain this? The main character in the film, you don't see as much of her lack of confidence as you do in the book. Like, in the book, it just, du Maurier, like, hits you over the head with it, and it's like, man. And yeah, so I think that's why I like the movie more, and also just Laurence Olivier and Joan Fontaine, how can you go wrong? And then the thing is that when I was researching it on IMDb, I saw that Joan Fontaine's sister, Olivia, she has a different last name, but I never know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to try, was in My Cousin Rachel. And between the two of them, they were in every Daphne du Maurier. Like, Joan was also in Frenchman's Creek. So it was just so cool that I thought that these two sisters, like, were in every Daphne du Maurier film adaptation. And then Joan also played Jane Eyre. So I just really love connections like that. But anyway, once I found out that her sister was in My Cousin Rachel, I was like, oh, I really want to read that. So I checked that out from the library like a year ago, I think. And this is going to sound really shallow, but it was just not a very nice looking copy. It was fine, like it wasn't gross or anything, but it just was old looking. And so I think somehow subconsciously I was like, I don't really want to read that anymore. But then every time I like read the plot online, I was like, I really want to read that. And this copy is the new cover, and I just think that it's gorgeous. So, yeah, I'm actually really excited to read this now, and then I'm going to watch the film. And I'm sorry that was a very long story for that, but I think that story, I find it interesting, so. And I do want to give Rebecca another try at some time in the future, and I have put Frenchman's Creek on my Christmas list because that looks like the most interesting of her books to me. Like, it looks like the plot that I'm going to like the most, but unfortunately my library doesn't have it. And I even checked the, my library has a used bookstore in it, or at least the main library does, and I checked that today and they didn't have it, unfortunately, so I'll have to get it for Christmas, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, I'm hoping to like My Cousin Rachel. And then the last two, first is Glamour in Glass. This is the second in the Glamourist Histories by Mary Robinette Kowal. And I am going to be reading Shades of Milk and Honey, which is the first one, with Caitlin from Kitty G, and I will link her channel down below. And you guys wouldn't know this yet because I haven't made my TBR for May yet. But yeah, so I'm going to be reading that, and I just think that I'm going to love it. So I wanted to go ahead and get the second one, because basically I've heard this described two ways. The first is this is the series that Jane Austen would have written if there had been magic, if magic existed in our world, then this is the series Jane Austen would have written. And then the other thing I've heard is that it's like if Jane Austen and Neil Gaiman got together and wrote a book, which that sold me immediately because they're my two favorite authors. So I was like, done. Just done and done. So yeah, so I got the second one and I'm really looking forward to that. But now the only problem is that if I really love both of those, I'm really going to want the third and fourth one immediately, and I'm going to have to special order them to my library because they didn't have the third or the fourth one at the main library or the library that's closest to my house. So I'll have to wait a few days for those, but oh well. And then last but not least is this beast, which is Heir of Fire. I'm sorry you guys can't see this very well. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I actually haven't read Assassin's Blade or Crown of Midnight yet. I have both of them, because I've owned those for a while, and that's what I meant when I said I was going to read a combination of books that I own and books that are from the library, because the series combined I have owned or from the library. And the thing is that I lent Throne of Glass to a friend, and I was going to try to reread it before I started Crown of Midnight, but then I was like, I really don't want to reread it this soon, because I just read it like a year and a half ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go on Wikipedia and look up the synopsis, and then I'm going to probably read Assassin's Blade, which is the 4 novellas in one, and then I'm going to read Crown of Midnight, and then I'm going to read Heir of Fire. So yeah. And then the other one that I don't have to show you, unfortunately, because it's on my tablet, is Poirot Investigates. I got that on Overdrive because I have the audio discs. I got those forever ago, and I tried to listen to them while I was cleaning my room, and it just didn't, I couldn't pay attention to the stories and cleaning my room at the same time. So I really wanted to listen to them again, and now I've actually gotten to the point in the series chronologically where Poirot Investigates is actually the book that's up next. So it was perfect timing. And yeah, so I'll probably be reading that this month. And yeah, that's my haul, and I'm sorry it took so long. I had a lot to say about these books that I'm very excited about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys are reading right now, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.